Hi, my name is Cheryl, and I work with Access, and I'm here today with Clinton from Another Lost Year. Hi, Clinton.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and you are getting ready to release a new album, and you have a new video for it.
We just got done shooting a new music video for our new single Wolves that just went to radio 2 weeks ago. Yes.
Wow, I have seen the video, and it is amazing. You guys always do a really good job on your videos.
Thank you.
Is this one that you came up for the idea personally, or someone in the band, or maybe a collaboration?
This video for Wolves is honestly, we had a day that we were going to shoot the video for. A good friend of mine who I teamed up with and started a video production thing with. He shot the video for it. I framed the shots. He did the camera work, and then I did the editing and everything on it. So it was kind of we were just trying some stuff out, and it turned out pretty decent, and we decided to release it.
That's awesome. No, it did turn out really nice. It's a great video, and you have it, of course, on your website. Now, will that be available also on iTunes?
The single that the videos for is actually it's available on iTunes right now. As far as the video being on iTunes or something like that, I know that they do things like that.
Yeah, sometimes they do.
Yeah, I just don't. Maybe I'm just ignorant and I don't really know how all that works.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? I don't know either, because occasionally you will see that bands have the videos they make up, but not always. So maybe there's a special process to go through for that. We'll both have to check that out, right? And find out how do you get your videos on iTunes. It's kind of like a whole different world, right? From the single.
Now I'm deep in thought on how to make this happen.
Yeah, because if you could get the video on with the song, that would be really cool. Or people, because then that way people can actually have it right on their phones or right on their computers.
I like to take it here.
And you don't have to. Then they don't have to look it up, and of course, also that supports the band as well. You know, if they're buying it. Which is always a good thing on iTunes for the fans to come on and support. Because if the fans don't support bands, then you can't keep making music. So
that's a fact.
So it is, a really good thing. So for those of you out there that don't know Another Lost Year, they are from a rock band from Charlotte, North Carolina. And can you tell me a little bit about the other members in the band, Clinton?
We have Adam, who's been with me from pretty much from day one. He's from South Point, Ohio. He actually lives like 10 minutes from me when we're back home.
Okay. All right.
We have Nate is our drummer now. He's been with us for about 2 years. He was actually running sound for us the last time that we did. We were at Dirt Fest last time we did an interview together. But Nate was running sound for us for a while, and
right.
We had a baby, just had a new baby. So Nate has been banging on the drums for about 2 years, and then George is our lead guitar player.
Right.
Who we found him in a dumpster.
Oh.
Milwaukee.
That's funny. Yeah. Because you have had a little bit of a lineup change over the last few years. So this lineup has been in place for now. It's been a little bit, maybe a year at least, or longer.
That's actually been the longest lineup that we've had.
Yeah. Well, it's hard. I mean, being out on the road is hard. I mean, it's not an easy life. You guys are definitely a touring band. You're out there on the road all the time, and a lot of times, people start having kids and families, and it's not the easiest thing to do to go out on tour. So
yeah, no, it's an interesting lifestyle that we have. and I've been really fortunate to be able to do it at my age.
Yes.
At my age. Sounds really weird to say, but yeah, I've been fortunate to do it at my age. Especially kind of waiting a little bit later in my years to start touring. But it's I couldn't be happier where I'm at. At the end of the day, there are days where it wears on you a little bit, where you're
sure,
like,
of course,
that normal. I'm air quoting, you can't see me, but that normal 9 to 5 job.
Right. Well, any job can wear on you, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So.
That's kind of how you have to look at it. Like, at the end of the day, is it, I'm at home as much as I can, to help raise the kids and things like that. But
right.
It's just a job at the end of the day. To most people, it's not
right.
just a job to me, but it's no different than any job that travels.
Right.
I was in the military for several years. I was away for a long time. Being in the military. So
I did not know that. I did not know that you were in the military.
Yeah, did 5 years in the 82nd Airborne Division, Fort Bragg, North Carolina.
Okay, that's wonderful. I did not know that. Something new I learned about you today.
Always got a bag full of tricks. You can't reveal all your cards.
Yeah. So, were you pretty young when you were in the military? I mean, were you like just out of high school, or you were pretty young when you joined the military?
I went to college, and then I went into the Army when I was 22.
Okay, so you've done quite a few different things. You've gone to college, you've been in the military, and now you're on your music career. I mean, that's more things that a lot of people have done ever, right? That's pretty amazing.
In between all that too, I was designing floor systems for a company doing estimates and engineering.
Okay.
And then I have a telecommunications and construction company that I have as well. Built several office depots, hotels.
Really? Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that either. That's very cool. And that helps you stay on the road, I'm sure.
That is how we stay on the road.
Yeah, because I mean, most people that know today's musicians, it's not like the old days where you go out and you sell, 1 million records, and it just doesn't quite work the same way anymore.
No, it's unfortunate. Actually today I was having several phone conversations. Like I said, we got a new single that's working at radio right now, and as unfortunate as it is, it's a money pit. I mean,
right.
Nobody wants to say it, but I'll say it. So
right.
It is. You throw money at something, and you see all these bands that come out of nowhere that just buy their way into these spots, and then they come and go. They're not saying they're not worthy, but they're definitely undeserving of certain things that they get because of financial access.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, some people can. There's so many spots out there for musicians, and it's just an unfortunate part of it that sometimes you can buy yourself in, and people know. I mean, you have an extremely loyal fan base.
We do.
You really do.
I think, honestly, it's no different than any other thing. I have, we're from the NASCAR community back home, and I've got several friends who are drivers, and it's the same thing. They're like, God, man, it's the exact same way. They hear the struggle, and they kind of watch me go through it.
Right.
The guy who I do production thing with now, he's actually a NASCAR driver too, and he's like, it's no different. He's like, you get these guys who come in and just have money, and they buy up, a driver slot and things like that. And it's he's like, these dudes, they don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right. They haven't worked for it. They haven't been out on the road. They haven't gone through everything. And that's tough if you have been, to see that sometimes, I think.
It is. And I understand a different side of it too, because I remember when we were kind of coming out, I remember bands like seeing us, and because honest to God, if I would have been one of these bands when we came along, I would have slapped the crap out of them. What's wrong with you, idiot? But You know, that's
Right.
kind of the thing. And you hear the whole time, like, you got to pay your dues, you got to pay your dues. And, you know, you don't realize what it is until you're actually kind of going through it. You
Right.
know, for being paid up on those dues. But we've been fortunate, man. You know, we've been really lucky along the years to be given the opportunities that we've been given, and at the same token, be ready for the opportunities that we're given to us.
And you played with some really great bands, and right now you're out on you have some dates with Royal Bliss, and
Yep.
they're another amazing band. I think a really good match for you guys to play with. You probably have a blast playing with them. I can see that.
This is our first run with those guys. We played many one-off shows together at several festivals. But we just ended our headlining run on Friday and started up with those guys on Friday. And you know, we had some huge shows on our headlining runs, and then we started getting territories that we knew were going to be big for both of us, and we basically sold out Friday night. We basically sold out. Oh, we did sell out Saturday night. We're in Omaha, which will be pretty much sold out. You know, the place that we're playing in Gearing, Nebraska, the last 2 times we've been there, we've sold it out. So
wow. Nice.
You know, it's a good run to be on with Royal Bliss, because I know that they bring some numbers too, and, you know, together we're selling out places.
Now are you switching up? Like, if you know it's a town that you're more popular in, will you be the headliner and, like, flip-flop? How are you doing it for this?
No, we're just, you know, we're playing an hour in front of them, and then they're playing right behind us. It's just been like, you know, small bills. So,
right.
Yeah, just kind of. No, we never even thought about that.
Yeah. Well, I've seen some bands do that, where when they're out, they'll do that, where if it's a town where one or the other band is more popular, it's their hometown or something like that, they'll kind of flip their spot like that.
We got mad respect for those guys. We're just kind of out supporting them. You know, we're making out pretty decent on the ticket sales and the you know, the guarantees and things like that. So we're having a good time. They're having a good time.
Well, they're a fun band. They're definitely a fun band, and they've actually played here a few times at the Intersection in Grand Rapids. So hopefully, if they come back to the Intersection, you will be with them. That would be awesome if you came to Grand Rapids. And then, of course, you're out on tour with them right now, and then festival season is just around the corner. It always sounds like it's early to say festival season is around the corner in February, but this is right now. I'm sure you're already looking at which ones you want to do. You probably don't have it written in stone yet, but you have to apply sometimes really early for those. So I'm hoping that you do a few in Michigan. Last year you did Dirt Fest, which is one of our big metal festivals, and hard rock. And so hopefully you will be on Dirt Fest again this year.
Yeah, that'd be great. We with the album coming out, we took a lot of last year off to kind of record. We recorded 2 albums basically, and so we've had a few festival offers. We don't really know what we're gonna do right now because of the album release. So
right. Will you do that in your hometown? Most likely, will you do your like album release party? Will you do it somewhere in North Carolina?
I don't know.
It's probably too early. Probably just plain too early to say what you'll do with that.
I'd love to do it in Charlotte, but you know, honestly, I think we might end up picking up doing it somewhere else to kind of. I don't know. We'll probably do several release shows, truthfully, but Charlotte will get one of them. But I don't know if they'll get like the first one.
Okay. Well, that's another thing too with bands. Sometimes when you tour, you get some really great towns that you love, and you have really great response. And I have seen bands do that before, do 3 or 4 CD release parties, just because they want to involve the fans in those towns that they've had a lot of fans, basically, and which is really nice. So you've got the new album. It's not out yet, but we can expect that soon. And we've had a taste of that with your song "Wolves," which is at radio stations and in on video. And I'm assuming you've had two number one songs on satellite radio. One, you had them on your, or should I say your music is on Clear Channel, iHeartRadio. You've been on Octane. You've been on, am I missing any that you've been on? You've been on quite a few.
Yeah, we've done, we've done all the big shows, hard drives. We've done, Music Choice, pretty much everywhere.
Right. I mean, you've had some really good success on radio. You really have.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure that right now your new single is getting some great play. So that's good.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well considering it's the second week, and like I said, we don't have big money behind this. It's just me kind of piecing it together along the way.
And so fans call in, right? And request it.
Call in and request. Call in and harass.
Yes, harass the radio stations to play it. But you've had some of your other songs off your other albums have just been amazing, and that's why they went to number one. And so you had, which songs actually hit the number one spots? Do you remember?
War on the Inside and Writing on the Wall.
Okay. Yes.
Actually, myself out of number one was Writing on the Wall.
Oh, that's kind of funny. And of course, you have your first album that, of course, is available on iTunes and all the regular places that you can go to get music.
iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, whatever.
One of my favorite songs, "Angels," on the first album. That was a duet with a female singer. That is an awesome song. Any duets in your future? Do you think? Is there a singer that you would like to do a duet with? If you had a dream duet, who would you do it with?
Oh gosh. Does a duet have to be? It can be between a man and a man.
Yeah, I think it can be. Yeah, I think it can be a man and a man, or a woman and a woman. You hear that?
I would love to. The new album's got some surprises on it.
Okay.
I would love to. I'd love to sing with Vince Gill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be great. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I don't think you really have much when you speak. You have a Southern accent, but on your music, I don't think too much of a Southern. You can't really hear it when you sing.
Yeah, I don't even hear my accent.
You don't hear it. I think that people that live in the more northern states, we can hear it just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people have said it's gotten much better as far as I've started to develop a Midwestern dialect.
Right. Well, you're always out. You're always out on the road traveling somewhere and talking with all kinds of different people. So they say you lose if you have a accent. Usually you end up losing it by the time you're done. So let's see. Is there anything that we haven't covered? I've learned new things about Clinton today. This is awesome. I found out you were in the military and you have a great company. Does your company have a name? If people wanted to use it, or it's not that kind of company really that people.
Well, we're a private marketing company.
Okay, so it's not really.
We're called C&L Contractors.
Okay, so that's great. So you have a lot of things going on. So you're a busy man.
I'm a busy guy.
So now the music. I'll just ask you this real quick. The music. Are you you all write all your own music? And
except for the covers, though.
Right. Now you haven't really done. Have you done any covers? Regularly. You don't have a cover on the first album, I don't believe.
No, we had a cover on the Revolution EP. Revolution will be coming out in about 2 weeks.
Okay.
But we actually did a cover of Sam Hunt's Cop Car.
Okay.
More famously known by Keith Urban. But we did a version of that actually got played on rock and country stations.
Okay. Interesting.
It did well for us. We did that with Brett Hessla, who did Framing Hanley's Lollipop.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, he's real. That's really good.
Yeah. You know, we had some decent success with a cover. But we're, you know, for the most part, it was just more fun than anything, and
right.
We sent it over to our. I was calling him our manager at the time, but he was more like not our manager. But I sent him over a version. I sent him over a couple songs that we just got done recording. He was like, "Man, you killed it on this cop car version. We should send it to radio." And I was like, "You're kidding, right?"
But it really did. I do not know if I've heard that. I'm gonna have to look it up. I feel like I have
video for it and everything.
I feel like somehow I have either that I have not seen that, and I have to look it up. I usually see most everything you do, so or maybe I've seen it and I just don't recall because I admit I'm not as fluent in country music as I am in rock music. So
most people don't know it's coming.
Right. I just may not have realized it was a cover. I might have just said, "Oh, that's a cool song," and not thought that much about whether it was a cover or not. So that is really an interesting thing that it is. So I'm going to ask you one. We'll just ask you a couple fun questions. When you were growing up, do you remember what is the first album that you bought? Can you remember? First album.
Purchased myself?
Yes, the first album that you went out.
First album that I purchased myself that I went out and bought went to the store because the first album that I remember purchasing was actually Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Eternal 1999 record, because I couldn't buy it. I had a girl in my chorus class buy it for me.
Oh.
But the first compact disc that I went to the store and purchased, that I walked in the store and physically bought was 7 Mary 3 American Standard.
Okay, that's cool. That's interesting. I always like to hear what did people buy, back in the day.
That was the first CD that I bought. I mean, cassette tapes. Honestly, I couldn't go back and remember, but I do remember the first compact disc album that I purchased, and it was 7 Mary 3's American Standard.
Okay, that's awesome. And so, did you have any people that were like your heroes when you were that age? That now you kind of musical heroes. I mean,
I grew up like I'm kind of like the in-betweener in general. Like I'm not. I was born in the early '80s, so I got some great '80s times in as a preteen.
Sure.
And I hit the '90s in stride as a teenager. I'm into my 30s now, and so 80s hair metal, kind of like I caught the tail end fringe of that,
Sure.
And like classic rock was too classic a rock for me to listen to in my mind. So I was obviously band type kind of guy, and man, Kurt Cobain. I remember like the Nirvana and Euro.
Right.
I was obsessed with that record.
That was a big thing when it came out. I mean, it changed a lot of the face of music at the time.
It did. I mean, you're talking about a guy who, they played their instruments horribly, but there was just so much angst and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like they embodied like everything that was happening in the world to me at the time, and so I love Nirvana. I was a huge Steve Perry fan, just because the guy could sing. I love Peter Gabriel.
Okay.
Obviously, I got the '90s country music. Mark Wills was a great influence on me. Mark Chestnut, Vince Gill.
Right.
I love the Offspring. I thought the Offspring were just fantastic. But at the time when I was like in high school, it was like the Offspring, Green Day. Then Creed was starting to kind of come around.
Right.
Bush was one of the bands. I remember getting a 16 Stone record from my 9th grade girlfriend.
Okay.
Christmas, and it was a great record.
You were getting a lot of records from your girlfriends, right?
Well, I had 2 girlfriends when I was in high school. I dated one for like a year, and the next one throughout high school and college, and they hated music. So
really? Wow. That's kind of funny that, for somebody who loves music so much that they didn't like it. That's funny.
Well, I wasn't. The first band I was in was a Christian band in church, and they actually went on to win 2 Dove Awards. And I never actively pursued music. Like, I liked music, but I wanted to be. At that time, I was living on a horse farm. I was showing horses on my weekends and playing baseball. I wanted to be a professional baseball player. I had no inkling that I was going to be a musician at all.
Okay. Now, can you ride? I assume if you were doing that, you must be an excellent rider.
I was the 1994 juvenile world racing horse champion.
Wow. I tell you, I am learning so many new things about you today. That is really cool. So when you go home, do you still, it's hard, you're on the road and everything, but do you still get a chance to ride?
No, when my mom passed away, that was the last time I rode horses, truthfully. So.
Right. A horse isn't exactly the kind of animal that you can just have as a pet. It's not, I got a horse, somebody's really got, not that any pet doesn't have to be taken care of, but it's not like a cat where you can leave it at home, with a neighbor or whatever, or a friend. A horse is is an undertaking, right? Yes. Not like a cat or a dog.
You gotta feed them all the time. Let them out, put them in when the weather's bad.
Right.
You gotta do things with them.
Right, and they have to be ridden, and they have to be. So you would, if you were to want to have horses, you would have to really have a setup at your home where you had somebody really taking care of them. And that's a lot more than, like we said, a family member might take care of a cat or dog. But I don't think it's as likely that they would say, "Oh yeah, I'll just watch your horse for the next year." That might be a little bit too much. I assume you don't have any pets, probably because you're out in the.
I do not have pets. I do not have pets.
It's hard. It's hard to have pets when you're out on the road, unless you're married, maybe, and you have your family can take care of them, right?
Even when I'm home, I'm working my other job, and then when I'm not working that job, I'm doing video, and when I'm not doing video, I'm at the gym.
Right, and that's not very fair, to have a pet that you basically never see. So yeah. But hey, we have learned some great, interesting new things about you today. And that you can also play baseball.
Yes, I did. I was actually really good at baseball.
Well, that's something that you can actually, if you're home or you're out, on the road, even if you can always grab a baseball and go out and, play a little bit of that if you have time, right? You don't always.
I wish. I'm not. The reason why I'm not playing baseball anymore is because I tore my shoulder. But yeah, I would love that. If I was not a musician and I was as healthy as I could be, I would either be snowboarding or playing baseball. Yes.
Okay, that's really cool. That's awesome. So another lost year, new single. People need to call your radio stations and ask for it to be played. Go to iTunes and buy it. And
don't ask, demand.
Demand it, that they play it. And and then we all need to go out and buy the album and really keep, you have all the social media. You have Facebook, you have Instagram, I'm sure you have Twitter, all of those. So fans can keep an eye out for when you're touring near them. And then they can come to a show and buy a great T-shirt, which you have. You have a wonderful logo, by the way. Another Lost Year has you shorten it down to ALY. Now, do fans call it? Do they call it Alley, or do they just say ALY? What do they refer to that? Do you know?
It's both. It's funny. It's just kind of the ongoing joke that it's Alley.
Right. That's what I've always heard whenever I've talked to anybody. So, but I wasn't sure what the band itself calls it. So.
It depends on how drunk people are. At first it's Alley, and then the more drunk they get, it's
Then it's just you can't even understand it, right?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny, but it is cool, and it's nice that you have like that symbol, and that's on most of your clothing, which is really nice. I mean, it's you're identifiable with that.
That's exactly what we are trying.
And that's what you want. Bands want to have a symbol that when you see it, you go, oh yeah, that's Another Lost Year, and that's and I think you've been really successful with that. I think that most people in the music business that follow rock music anyway see that and they know who that is.
I hope that's true.
I hope that's true too. No, I think people, at least people that follow rock music, get pretty aware of the different symbols that are out there, and especially if I don't know how many of your fans have tattoos of them. Do a lot of your fans?
Quite a few. Yeah.
Have that tattooed?
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say. There's a few that have. No Lost Year on there. Well, most of them are lyrics, things like that.
Oh, okay. That's cool. All right. So I'm going to let you get back to probably sleeping, because you're probably tired from being out on the road. And we will look for all things Another Lost Year and all the great things that are coming up for you next. Thank you so much, Clinton, for talking with me. It was, as always, it was so fun to talk to you. And
thanks for taking time to talk to me. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks.